You know, they say misery loves company, and so that is why I said I need to talk to my guy Donnovan. I need to commiserate with the great Donnovan Bennett because I'm still not quite over, and I think this one is going to stick with me for a little bit. I'm still not quite over what we witnessed just a couple hours ago now at the Bercy Arena. Shocking stuff, disappointing stuff, depressing stuff, Donnovan. Tell me how you're feeling after Canada's loss to France.
Where to start? 42 free throws? Is this what we're doing? 42 the most since 2016, USA versus Serbia. You were in the building. We knew there was going to be a pro France host nation whistle, but that was wild. That was absurd. And now I'm at the point, right? You go through the different stages of grief. I'm at the rage stage, which I don't think is an official stage, but I hate everything French right now. I hate French fries, no. French toast, no. I told my wife, no more French kissing, nothing French for at least 48 hours. It sucks because 8,715 days ago, 2000 Olympics, Canada, France, we have 2 NBA players. 24 years later, we've got 10. We are going to beat you down in your own country. We're so much better, and yet we lose to the French again. I'm sick. How are you feeling? You were there.
Oh, I mean, it was torturous. I was feeling like I wanted to crawl in a hole. And the thing is, I just had a bad feeling from the get-go. I did not want this matchup. I didn't want this matchup for 2 reasons: A, their size, and B, the crowd. And I thought the crowd took Canada out of it from the jump. And in fact, there were little things like I noticed when the national anthem was being played, the French were all hugging each other. They were singing. They were proud. Canada, it felt like they were like frozen, like they were stiff. No one was singing. No one was into it. And that crowd, I think, just completely knocked Canada off. And I think Canada was just spooked by it. And you know, afterwards, I went on Twitter. And I have to say, I've seen a lot of people, a lot of smart people complain about the refs. That's not my takeaway, man. The refs weren't the problem. Like, those fouls, for the most part, in my opinion, were warranted. They outplayed us. They out-hustled us. They out-rebounded us. They out-everythinged us. Like, everything. We were never in that game. I don't care about the 5 points. I don't care about the 6 points. We were never in that game. We did not show up. And it's hard to stomach because I believe we are a much better team than France. Look at what Wemby did tonight. Gobert was a non-factor. I mean, there were guys who weren't even in the NBA that were killing us. And so it's hard to stomach, but I don't think it's fair to blame the refs. I think we beat ourselves and no one else.
I think both things can be true, which is something I say to my wife, and she says that doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to say it to you, see if it works. Listen, did they out-hustle us? Were they more aggressive? Did they get more paint touches? Did they get all of the loose balls, like all of them? Yes. But also, did they have a parade to the free throw line throughout the entire game? Yes. When you're in the bonus early, that changes how you can defend, changes how aggressive you can be, changes who's on the floor. I mean, thankfully, Frankie Smokes fouled out. I think that was to the benefit of them. I wanted him to stay on the floor. But I could not understand. There was no flow. You understand the fight game, right? Whether it's boxing, MMA, there'll be an understanding of this is the line and you can't push it. There was no understanding. And so I wasn't sure, is that a foul? Is that not a foul? Is that a charge? Is it a block? Is it a play on? Evidently, it can be a charge and a basket at the same time. I felt like the reason why they were somewhat frozen in play is because they were never sure what is and isn't going to be called. So they couldn't really have the appropriate aggression. I, though, wonder, speaking of appropriate, and you know this because your basketball pod was one of the best listens for me when I was stuck in Toronto traffic. Greg Popovich talks about the appropriate fear of the opponent. And beat France last year, waxed them in exhibition. I wonder if Team Canada came into this game with the appropriate fear of the opponent.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's a great point. And I guess there's a lot of answers that we are still going to be searching for. And one of those answers that I would love to know is Jamal Murray. Like, what happened to Jamal Murray? Who was that guy? I love Jamal Murray. I will always support him. And I was boastfully, saying that like this is the best backcourt in the Olympics, and we hardly got to see them together. He was coming off the bench, and I just spoke to Mark Spears of ESPN around an hour ago, and he said that maybe coming off the bench kind of like threw him off. I don't know if it's just that, but that's not the same guy that won the NBA title for the Denver Nuggets last year, right? Like, what is your take on what we saw from Jamal Murray? Everything seemed off for him.
Kevin Durant's coming off the bench, and he looks like he's the best player in the Olympics, or second best to LeBron. Jamal Murray's coming off the bench because Jamal Murray has not looked right at all. I'm going to ask you for a wild guess of his numbers, but don't bother because you're never going to guess them. He averaged 6 points per game. 6. He averaged 14% from three. 14% from three with the FIBA line. So I think he was a mixture of mob deep, shook ones, and just physically not himself because there's no bounce, and he was struggling to get past defenders that he would be salivating for normally.
Yeah, like you said, first Olympic berth in 24 years. We lose to France, just like we lost to them in Sydney, just like we lost to him trying to qualify for Rio. Once again, heartbreak in Paris. I'm not the first man, Donnovan, to have heartbreak in Paris, but tonight it is a tough one to swallow. It is a tough one to swallow. Thank you for stopping by, and it's nice to commiserate with you. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for making me laugh, because if not for that, I would be crying. So I appreciate you.
Paris Tonight is brought to you by Smart Water.